So, hello students, welcome back to your own channel, Vedantu NEET English. This is Basavaraj Sir, your biology master teacher. Now, students, good evening. Students, am I audible to all of you? Yes? Right, students, this is a very important chapter of your class 12th, right? This chapter basically is a foundation to all of your chapters. Now, in your class 12th, the first two chapters plays a very important role. And if you're in class 12th right now, this is the beginning of your everything, right? Now, students, let me ask all of you a simple question right now, students. Let me ask all of you a very simple question. What is your confidence level in this chapter rated out of 10? Now I want all of you to tell to yourself, and if you're in the live right now, to tell me also in the live right now, students, what is your confidence level in this chapter, the entire chapter. Because if it is anything less than 5, anything less than 8, I will make it to 10 today. Okay, students, that is my promise from my side, students. So if I'm perfectly audible and if I'm perfectly visible to all of you, quickly add some fire emoji, students. Fire emoji in chat. All of you. Fire emoji in the chat. All of you, students. All of you. Quickly, students. And students, all of you, mark your attendance by smashing the like button. Quickly smash that like button right now, all of you, by marking your attendance, students. Okay. Now, students. Now. First things first, students. First things first. I want all of you to tell me. There are two types of reproduction. All of you might be aware. There are two types of reproduction. One is called as asexual reproduction. One is called as sexual reproduction. Now, can anyone tell me, right, if you're watching a record also, right, which one category do you think human beings fall under? Do human beings shows sexual or asexual? So, students, as the chapter itself says, humans, all of us, right, we show sexual reproduction. So, humans should usually show, students, humans usually show the sexual reproduction. Okay. Now, what is the difference, students? What is the difference between sexual and asexual? Stupid thing, mic is only falling, students. Stupid mic. Okay. Now, students, what is the meaning of difference between sexual and asexual? Understand, very simple. In the case of asexual reproduction, there is involvement of only a single parent. A single parent will directly give birth to a new organism. Binary fission, budding, all of you know that. Fragmentation, right? In asexual reproduction here, there is no fusion of gametes. Gametes are not even fusing. In many cases, gametes are not formed also. Okay? And students, in asexual reproduction, the new small baby, right? It is identical to the parents. Now, can anyone tell me the term which we use to define, let's say I am the parent, my offspring is there, both are identical to each other. What do you call them, students? We call them clones. So in this case, students, asexual reproduction, we get clones. Now, one more question arises, students. One more question arises to all of you right now. Hello, Wala, Nandu. Varshita, today one small change, students, small change. Okay, Praveen, yes. Now, students, Praveen, all of you tell me, in the case of sexual reproduction, how many parents do you see? Do you see one parent or do you see two parents? It is actually both the possibilities there, students. Both possibilities there. So in the case of, it says two parents, but also it can also be uniparental also. Uniparental. parental. It can be uniparental also. Now, can anyone give me the example of uniparental? It is possible. It is possible. The example of uniparental, all of you know, students, all of you know, a bisexual flower. Yes or no, students? A bisexual flower is one flower. A flower has both the 6 organs. So, if an organism has both the 6 organs, then it can undergo sexual reproduction. So, it can be uniparental and biparental, both is possible. Okay. Now, here students, there is something called as fusion of gametes here, and also students, the offspring here, the offspring or the small child is genetically unique here. It means there can be variations can be seen here. Okay, students, variations can be seen. Now, with all of this concept, right, have you ever heard of a term called as viviparous? Anyone, students? Anyone? All of you? Students, has any one of you ever heard something called as viviparous? Viviparous, students? Any of you? Viviparous? Have you heard? Yes, we have, students. We humans are viviparous. The meaning of viviparous is that these organisms can directly give birth to a young one. The other one is oviparous. In the case of oviparous, there is egg laying. There is egg laying, students. Okay. Now, students, this is the chapter we'll be learning today. Right. We'll be starting the chapter, students. We'll be starting the chapter. Let's say here we have a male organism and we have a female organism here. Okay. Now, male organism can produce the sperm. Female organism can produce the egg. Students, what do you call the process of laying the eggs? Now here, all of you, MS Tariya, students, I can't say the name. Okay, Advika, tell me. In male and female organisms, the process of gamete formation, that is called as what, students? That is called as gametogenesis. Okay, gametogenesis. That is the first topic here in this chapter. Okay. Now, actually, before gametogenesis, there is also male and female reproductive organs. But after that, in general, we have the gametogenesis, the gamete formation. Now, let's say, students, in the case of humans, the male is releasing the sperm in the female vaginal tract. What do you call that? The release of sperm is called as insemination into the female vaginal tract. The second topic here, basically a topic, it is a process called as insemination, students. Insemination. Now, let's say this sperm and this egg fuse together. Students, this sperm and this egg fuse together. Both are haploid in nature. What do we get here, students? We get the zygote. Now, can all of you tell me, students, do you think this zygote right here, students, is the voice breaking? Okay, I think if I turn this way, the voice breaks, I guess. Listen. So, students, do you think zygote is the first cell in the human body? All of you, students? All of you? Do you think the zygote is the first cell in the human body? Yes, it is the first cell. So, if it is the first cell in the human body, is it unicellular or is it multicellular? Students, all of you, please remember, students. It is going to be unicellular in nature. This zygote, student, this zygote. Okay, zygote is going to be unicellular, students. Okay. No. Then we have implantation, students. Then we have implantation happens after that. Implantation happens. Then we have gestation. Gestation is basically the 9 months in the case of humans, the development of a baby, starting to the ending. The entire thing is called as gestation period of 9 months in the case of humans. Now, students, do you think this gestation period, do you think it is same in all the organisms? Like, let's say an elephant, dog, cat. Do you think every single organism has 9 months itself? Obviously not. In the case of animals, it varies. In the case of elephant, it can be months together, like almost a year. 12 months sometimes, right? In the case of cats and dogs, it is much more lesser, okay? So students, that is called as gestation. Now students, after gestation, after 9 months, then there is parturition, okay? Then there is parturition, that is the childbirth. That is the childbirth, students. So this is going to be your entire chapter, which I'll be teaching you on YouTube for free of cost. Okay. Now students, if you are excited for this chapter, if you want to learn something new, something out of NCERT, much more detailed concepts, can I get a green hearts in the chat to let me know, students? All of you love this chapter. All of you want to learn in detail rather than just superficial by-hearting knowledge. Okay. So quickly, students, green hearts in the chat, all of you. All of you in the chat, students. Because the first topic today is called as the male reproductive system. Now, let me ask all of you one simple question. All of you, okay. Students, one simple question to all of you, okay. All of you know the meaning of system, first of all. System. Students, the meaning of system is very simple. Students, again, before I start, one small request from my side. Small request, okay. Please watch the lecture till the very end. Please watch the lecture till the very end because I want you to benefit, right? So if you leave it halfway, you will not benefit. So promise me, students, right now, promise me you will watch the lecture till the very end, and at the end of the class, you will solve a lot of questions and you will actually feel fulfilled. So if you want that feeling, till the end you should watch, okay? And also smash the like button. Now students, what do I mean by system? System is basically a collection of multiple components working together. For example, students, do any one of you have something called as a computer system in the end in your house? Students, do any one of you have something called as computer system in the house? You have, no? All of you have, right? Okay. If you have a fancy laptop, it might be well, because old houses, PC was there. Now, computer system has something called as mouse, keyboard, monitor, CPU, UPS, right? There are multiple components, all are working together to make the computer work. Okay, let me give you one more example. Digestive system. In digestive system, students, we have something called as, we have buccal cavity, esophagus, then we have stomach, small intestine, large intestine, right? So these are multiple components which are working together to digest the food. Okay. Similarly, we have excretory system. Can anyone give me any of two parts, any three components of excretory system, students, in the chat, all of you? Any parts of excretory system? All of you might know. There is kidney, there is all the tube, everything. Then there is a neural system. So similar to all of these systems, there is something called as reproductive system. Now, one question arises. What is the location? Like, where is it? Where do you think the entire reproductive system is located? Students, listen to me very carefully. This region is called as lower abdominal region. See, this is abdomen, students. This is your abdomen region. Anything below is called as what? Lower abdomen, students. Lower abdomen region. So in the lower abdomen region, we find the entire male reproductive system between the two coxal bones. Okay. Now, in this reproductive system, students, there is something called as a primary sex organ and secondary sex organ. Listen to me, students. Okay. A primary sex organ should be able to do two things. Hormones as well as gametes. So a primary sex organ should be able to produce two things mainly, a gamete as well as hormone. Now in the case of males, the Y chromosome people, okay, the people who are disappearing in the world, okay, the Y chromosome people, right, we have something called as, right, testis, right. Testis is the, students, testis is the primary sex organ. It should be able to produce a hormone. Yes. The hormone is your testosterone, that is a type of your androgen. It should be able to produce gametes. Yes. there is sperm. Then there is sperm. Sperm is the gamete here. So androgen and gamete is the sperm are the hormone and gametes produced by the primary sex organ called as testis. Testis, students. Done. Now students, now what do I mean by now? Secondary sex organs. Now students, remember secondary sex organs, right? Secondary sex organs do not have any direct role. Like for example here, testis is able to produce androgen, sperm, direct role in reproduction. But your secondary sex organs have a indirect role in the reproduction. For example, here we have something called as glands and ducts and external genitalia. Okay. Okay, and as well as the external genitalia, students. Okay, as well as external genitalia. So this is your secondary sex organ, students. Secondary sex organs here. Now glands, there are 3 glands which I'll teach you today. Ducts, there are multiple ducts I'll teach you today. External genitalia is the penis in the case of male. Okay, students. So any doubt till now, students, in this basic information today, basic information, any doubt, anyone, students, basic information. Okay. Now one more question arises, right? The primary sex organ called as testis, the location of it. As a matter of fact, students, the primary sex organ testis is actually outside the abdominal cavity. Students, see this. If this is the abdominal cavity right here, abdominal cavity, testis is located outside the abdominal cavity in a pouch-like structure called as scrotum. Now, why? First of all, the reason is why. The reason is very simple, students. The main reason is that inside the testis, there is a gamete production that is called as sperm. The process of sperm production is called as spermatogenesis. Okay. Now, for this spermatogenesis to happen, for it to actually take place, you need to have 2 to 2.5 degrees temperature lower compared to body. Okay. Now, for this sperm production inside this pouch called as scrotum, the testis is present there. The temperature here is actually very cool temperature. So, testis is actually very cool. Testis here, it doesn't like hot temperature. It's like, I want a very cool thing. Okay. Now, one question arises. Let me ask all of you a simple question, students. Let's say one human is in Sahara Desert. The temperature is, let's say, 50 degrees plus. In that case, do you think that male will be able to produce sperm? All of you in the chat, tell me. See, I told you sperm production requires less temperature, right? Less temperature. But if a human is in Sahara Desert, male, will he be able to produce sperm? The answer is yes. Let's say one more human is in Antarctica, very cold, -10, -20. Will he be able to produce sperm? Yes, he will be. Why? Because of the maintaining the internal body temperature. We humans can maintain the internal temperature called as homeostasis. So with the help of homeostasis, he can produce the sperm. Don't worry. Thumbs up in the chat, all of you. Now see this. Scrotum, this is called as scrotum here. Present outside the abdominal cavity, the sac-like structure called as testis, which remain connected to the pelvic cavity. It has 2 to 2.5 degrees lower than the body temperature, students. 2 to 2.5 degrees lower than the body temperature, students. Lower than body temperature. Now, students, do you want to know a fact here, students? Okay, let me tell you a small fact, students. See, in the case of humans, testis is actually descending. Testis is actually descending at the 7th month, around 7th month, testis formation happens. But do you know, in the case of certain animals, the testis is actually inside the abdominal cavity? Yes, sir. In certain animals, testis is actually inside the abdominal cavity. Example, elephant. So in the case of elephant, the testis never descend itself. I'll tell you one more funny one, students. More funny. In the case of the flying mammal, can anyone tell me which is the flying mammal, students? Flying mammal, anyone? The flying mammal called as a bat. In the case of bat, what happens? Listen to me. Whenever there is breeding season, the testis will come out. It will descend. Whenever there is not a breeding season, the testis will again go up. So it is like testis can be controlled. Testis descending and everything can be controlled in your bats. So during breeding season, it will come out. Without breeding season, it will go up again. Okay. Close to the answer. Okay. Now, students, I want all of you to understand the development of testis. Students, testis develop in the 7th month of fetal growth. As the baby is growing on the 7th month, in the 7th month, we can see, right? We can see the, yeah, it happens in bats. In the case of 7th month, the fetal growth. Now, what happens sometimes in certain babies, okay? In certain babies, what happens? The testis actually do not descend only. Why? Because of lack of testosterone. Because of lack of testosterone, sometimes what happens, or some other reasons also, the testes do not descend. That is called as cryptorchidism. Cryptorchidism is a disease, not disease, it's a disease itself. It's like a condition, not disease, condition where the testis do not descend itself. Okay, that is called as cryptorchidism. Cryptorchidism. Okay, in that condition, the testis do not descend itself. Breeding season matlab very simple, students. There are many animals and many birds which reproduce only during a specific time of the year. Birds, especially birds, you might have heard. There's a breeding season for bird. Breeding season for your, especially a lot of your mammals like your cats and dogs, right? Which follow an estrous cycle, right? They have a breeding season itself. In that season itself, they breed. Otherwise, they don't breed. They're like, I will do my other work. But humans are next level. They are like, we don't care. No time, no location, nothing. They don't care only. Okay. That is breeding season. Not bleeding, breeding. Breed. Oh my God. Okay. That is called as breeding season, students. Now, students, this is called cryptorchidism. Clear to all of you now. Now, students, I want all of you to understand. All of you know, right? Testis is 4 to 5 centimeters. This they will never ask you in NEET examination. Just for information. Function, all of you know, production of sperm as well as the hormone, that is androgen, male sex hormones. Testis is covered by a dense covering, which I'll teach you today. Okay. Now, students, I want you to understand some extra information right now, students. Extra information, all of you, listen to me very carefully. Okay. If this is there is a tube-like structure here called as inguinal canal, and this is the scrotum here. Okay. Here we get testis. This is called as inguinal canal. Remember, I told you that testis descend. I told you testis will descend. From where will it descend? It has to fall from somewhere, no? Testis have to fall from somewhere. From where it is falling? It is actually falling from this region called as inguinal canal. From this inguinal canal, if this is scrotum here, the testis will descend like this. It will descend. Let me show you one more image, students. Okay. So all of you have seen this. This is called as inguinal canal here. This is called as inguinal hernia. This is one more disease. That is, forget about that. This region, can you see this? This region is called as inguinal canal. From here, the entire testis will descend into the scrotum. See here, students. This is the actual diagram here. See here, students. Can all of you see here? This is called as into the inguinal canal. The top part is called inguinal canal there. Inguinal canal on top of here. This entire thing is called as scrotum. Inside this scrotum, there is a testis inside here. Okay. Right in the middle, we have something called as spermatic cord here. Spermatic cord. Okay. Now, students, I want all of you to understand. Okay. Inguinal canal is like a temperature to a testis will not form. The sperm will not form. Okay. Now, students, listen to me. Now, this entire testis inside, right? Inside testis actually has 3 layers actually. Here, students, here I told you, right? The testis has a dense covering. It actually has 3 coverings. Okay, 3 coverings. See, students, first outermost covering is called as your tunica vaginalis. This is the outer covering here, tunica vaginalis here. Then we have second layer. Can you see here? That is called tunica albuginea. That is the second layer. Then there is one more layer called as tunica vasculosa. There's one more layer is there inside. It's not mentioned here. There are 3 different layers around the testis. Do you see that? Ultimate protection, full protection is there. Okay, full protection is there. So there are 3 different layers here. Okay. Now, students, remember I told you the entire testis has a lot of muscles there. and all of these muscles will control the movement of testes also. During winter season they go up, during summer season they come down. Why? To regulate the body temperature, because in summer time the body is hot, so the testes descend a lot. During winter season the testes will move up to get more heat. Now all of this regulation is actually done by two main muscles here. Okay, I think it's mentioned somewhere here. Not mentioned, students? Not given, huh? Right. There is cremaster. No, it's given here, students. It's given here. Can you see here? Cremaster muscles. These are the cremaster muscles which will make sure the movement of testes happens. Cremaster as well as dartos and dartos. Dartos muscles. These two muscles will make sure the movement of testes happen. Cremaster as well as dartos muscles, they will make sure the entire movement of testes happens during summer and winter time. Okay, that is the entire next level information, students. Okay, so all of you remember, students, tunica vaginalis, tunica albuginea, again out of NCERT, all of this is out of NCERT, all this, and tunica vasculosa is the third layer there. Okay, now students, done, no? Done. Now students, now I want all of you to understand one simple things here, very simple. Students, just give me a minute. Just give me 1 minute, I'll show you one how does the testis actually look from inside. Students, all of you ready for 3D models? Now students, this right here is a cross section of a testis. Students, I hope the board is visible to all of you. Yeah, all boys listen to students, all of you should, this is very important. Okay, now see the students, this is a cross section of a testis right now. Okay, this is how it looks from the inside. Students, I hope all of you visible. Can you see here ducts? Can you see vas, these were different ducts, epididymis here, everything, vas efferentia, right, radiate testis, everything. No, this is radiate testis here. Okay, now students, I want all of you to properly understand what do I mean by, right, what do I mean by testicular lobules and seminiferous tubules. These two things all of you need to understand. Testicular lobules and seminiferous tubule. Okay. Now students, here it is not that many compartmentation. There are multiple compartments actually. Okay. Multiple compartments can be there. Right. Now students, if you can clearly see here, can you see compartments here? Compartments. All of these are compartments. These compartments here, each compartment, there are actually 250 of them, students. 250 of them. Right, these 250 compartments are called as testicular lobules. Testicular lobules, students. Now again, students, if you zoom in here, students, can you see here? Inside one compartment, can you see there is something called a seminiferous tubule here? Seminiferous tubule. All of you can, it's visible, right? Yes or no, all of you in the chat quickly. Students, it's visible to all of you. Students, I have to check. Students, sometimes I can't see this stupid chat. I'm wearing glass also, I can't see today. I don't know why. Okay, it's visible. Perfect. Now, students, this, can you see highly coiled structures here? Can you see, students? There are multiple highly coiled structures coiled. These coiled structures are called as seminiferous tubule. Okay, this coiled structure is called as seminiferous tubule. This entire thing is called as testicular lobule. Entire thing is called as testicular lobule. Here you can see radiate testis also. Radiate testis here. Okay. Now students, see here. Here also is visible to all of you. Can you see? This is one lobe, one more lobe, one more lobe here. All of these are called as testicular lobules. They are called as what, students? Testicular lobules. Now, so someone might ask, sir, how many are there? Students, there are around 250 of them. There are 250 testicular lobule in one testis. So, students, can anyone tell me how many are there in the entire male organism? All of you in human male. In human male, entire human male, how many testicular lobules do you find? Around 500. Okay, around 500, students. Now, students, inside the lobule, we have something called as 1 to 3 highly coiled structures. called as seminiferous tubule. Seminiferous tubule, students, seminiferous tubule. Okay. Now, students, let me give you a small comparison. Imagine there is one large house, one big house is there. The big house has 250 rooms. Okay. The big house has 250 rooms. Okay. Now, inside every room, there are 1 to 3 windows. So, the entire house is like a testis. Inside a testis, there are 250 compartments called as testicular lobule, and inside every lobule, there are 1 to 3 highly coiled structures called as seminiferous tubule. Students. And remember, students, remember this seminiferous tubule right here. This is the actual site of sperm production. Okay, this is the actual site for sperm production, students. Can you see here also? See here. Lobules, there are multiple lobules, there are 250 lobules. Inside these lobules, there is something called as seminiferous tubule. Inside we have seminiferous tubule. Highly coiled structures called as seminiferous tubule, students, seminiferous tubule. Okay. Now, students, I want all of you to understand what is actually present inside the seminiferous tubule right now. Students, all of you draw with me. Students, all of you draw with me quickly. Students, all of these notes you'll be getting in Telegram channel, okay? Okay, let's say this is one seminiferous tubule. This is one seminiferous tubule. Okay. Now, students, I want all of you to understand inside the seminiferous tubule, there are actually 2 types of cells. Inside the seminiferous tubule, there are two types of cells here. These are the sperm inside. Okay, these are sperm on the inside. Now, students, I want all of you to understand very simple here. These cells are called as Sertoli cells. These cells are called as what, students? They are called as Sertoli cells right now, students. Right? Sertoli cells right now, Sertoli cells. Now, these Sertoli cells are also called as nurse cells. Now, you might ask me, students, what is the main function of nurse cell? The main function of nurse cell is to provide nutrition to the germ cell. Okay. The main function, students, is nutrition. Now, do they have other functions, students? Do you think they have other functions? Yes, they do. These Sertoli cells can also produce something called as ABP, androgen binding protein. ABP. Androgen binding protein. This ABP, students, this ABP right now will help into collect all the androgen inside the cell, okay, inside the seminiferous tubule, help in collecting the androgen, ABP. Now, students, apart from that, it also, students, produce something called as inhibin. This inhibin actually will suppress the functioning of, FSH. Suppress the functioning of FSH, students. Suppress the functioning of FSH. Okay, students, ABP. I told you, students, ABP, androgen binding protein. It helps in to collect all the androgen. It's like binding the androgen. It helps in binding the androgen. Androgen binding protein. Okay, no, that is the Sertoli cell. Now, students, I want all of you to understand. There is one more cell here. One more cell. This one more cell is called as male germ cell. Excuse me. Male germ cell. This male germ cell is also called as spermatogonia. Please remember this. Spermatogonia. Now students, this spermatogonia is actually diploid in nature. Now this spermatogonia, students, it undergoes a process called as meiosis. Meiosis 1, meiosis 2. Students, can anyone tell me, do you think meiosis is, students, do you think meiosis is your reduction division or equation division? Anyone? Androgen is the type androgen, testosterone. Testosterone is the type of androgen, hormone. Okay. FSH is follicular stimulating hormone. Follicular stimulating hormone. Okay. Students, it is present in the phase of female also. It undergoes meiosis to produce the sperm eventually. Sperms are going to be haploid. Sperms are going to be haploid. So this male germ cell is producing the sperms inside, sperms. And all of these sperms head, can you see, students? All the sperms head, where do you see, students? If you notice the head, if you notice the head of the sperm, okay, students, meiosis. Students, meiosis is equational reduction. Students, meiosis is equational reduction. Tell me properly. Students, tell me, meiosis is reduction or equational? Do you get a reduction in number of chromosomes there? Yes, we do. What is a follicle? Follicles, we see, this is a follicle. Sperm, follicle development. Okay. Androgen is not a gamete. Androgen is a hormone. Praveen, androgen is a hormone. Example, testosterone. It is a hormone production there. Okay. Production of hormone is happening. For then, students, FSH done. Darshini, think again. Darshini, think again. 2 when to n is happening. So what is the meaning? Equational, huh? All of you think again, students, think again. In mitosis, there is no change. In mitosis, there is no change in chromosome number. But when you talk about meiosis, there is a change in chromosome number. That is, chromosome number becomes half. Now, think again, all of you. Okay, now students, now students, this much is clear to all of you. Students, this much is clear to all of you, students. Here we have the male germ cell called as spermatogonia, which is diploid, produces the sperm. Here we have the Sertoli cell, also called as nurse cell, which main function is nutrition to the germ cell, ABP, inhibin also. Now students, you might ask, sir, apart from nutrition, right, when it provides nutrition, what is the main function, students? It actually helps in spermatogenesis. Students, this is called as spermatogenesis, not spermatogenesis. It is spermatogenesis. Mio. I'll teach you, students. Don't worry. Next class, I'll teach you what is spermatogenesis, what is spermatogenesis. Two separate things. They are not same. Okay. So Sertoli cell will help where? Sertoli cell will help in spermatogenesis, not spermatogenesis. Spermatogenesis. Okay. So please remember, students. Please remember that. Okay. Students, see this. Can we see here? Spermatozoa is also called as the sperm. Also called as the sperm here. Then spermatogonia is the male germ cell which is diploid in nature. Sertoli cell is also here, students. Sertoli cell is also here. Yes, Sertoli cell also, students, here. Students, can you see here? Here we have the Sertoli cells here. Yes, sir, Sertoli cells. Spermatozoa is the sperm. Spermatogonia is the male germ cell here. Then we have students, one more point we missed out here. Okay. Now, students, I want all of you to understand, right? This region right now, this outer region is called as what? The outside the seminiferous tubule is called as interstitial space. Listen to me, students, very simple. The outside part is called as what? Interstitial space. In this interstitial space, we have something called as interstitial cell. Okay. So students, here we have something called as interstitial cell in this region. In this region, we have something called as interstitial cell. This interstitial cell, it is also called as dash. Can anyone tell me? By then I'll drink some water. Anyone? What do you call the interstitial cell? We call the interstitial cell as, anyone? Anyone, students? Anyone? In this particular outside part, interstitial space, there is something called as interstitial cell. It is also called as Leydig cell. It is also, students, called as what? It is also called as Leydig cell. Also called as Leydig cell, students. Now this Leydig cell main function, students. The main function of Leydig cell is to produce androgen. To produce androgen. That is, the outside part is called as interstitial cell or Leydig cell to produce androgen, students. Androgen. Students, all of you following, right? Yes or no? You can see here also diagram. Uterus, seminal vesicle, urinary bladder, vas deferens here, prostate. This diagram is not very detailed. I'll show you a better diagram. I will show you a better diagram, students. Okay. Now, students, we'll talk about now secondary 6 organs right now. Secondary 6 organs. Okay. There are secondary 6 organs. What is their function? The function of secondary 6 organs is transportation of sperm, wait for maturation of sperm, and storage of sperm. That is the main function of the entire secondary 6 organs here. Now, it includes what? It includes the epididymis, vas deferens, ejaculatory duct. These are your ducts, and these are the glands. Apart from this, are there any other ducts? Yes, there are. Students, let me show you, students. Let me show you. Now, students, can I get next 5 minutes ultimate attention? I do not want any of you to look here and there. Nothing. I want all of Praveen, Nandu, Darshini, Anand, Pratiksha. I want all of you to focus very well right now, because I will decode this entire diagram. This entire diagram behind me, I will decode it completely. So after this class, you will not have any doubts. I will decode it completely. Decoding. Ready, all of you students? Ready? All of you ready, students? Okay. Now, can anyone tell me where is the sperm production happening properly? Exact location. The exact location of sperm production is called as seminiferous tubule. It is called as seminiferous tubule right here, inside the testicular lobule. So inside the testicular lobule, there is seminiferous tubule right now. Seminiferous tubule. Okay. Now from the seminiferous tubule, the sperm are released right now. Sperm are released from there. Now, how do they travel? What is the next step here? Understood, students. From here, the sperm is traveling. The first location is called as retate testis. Then we have vasa efferentia. Third is called as epididymis. That is how the sperm is being traveling outside, traveling here. Like this. And students, remember, by the time it comes to epididymis, it is very mature. The sperm entire maturation happens here. The storage happens here. And remember, epididymis is actually the longest region. Longest region, students. Okay. Now, fourth is called as vas deferens. Now, can anyone tell me, right? Can Nandu tell me, if I cut the vas deferens and I tie it, what do I call that, students? What do I call that? Call that, Rudrani? Rudrani, tell me, what do I call that? If I cut this entire structure here and I tie it, what do you call that? That is called as vasectomy. Okay. Now, students, from vas deferens, the sperm is moving. The sperm is moving to this region right now. Now, when the sperm reaches this region here, this box part here, can all of you see, students? This box region right here. Here. In this region, there are two ducts joined together here actually. There are two ducts joined together. Let me just show you one more time here, students. Here. What exactly is happening here? One duct is coming from top here. That is the vas deferens. That is the vas deferens coming from top. Vas deferens is coming from top here. Here. Now, can all of you see something here also? One more gland here. All of you. Can all of you see this gland here? One more gland here. This one. This gland here, students. This gland is called as seminal vesicle gland. This gland here is called as seminal vesicle gland now, students. Now, this gland also is producing something now. Okay. Now, at this point right now, two ducts are joined together. One duct is coming from here, one duct is coming from here. And this point of here, when two ducts are joining here, this region is called as ejaculatory region. Again, students, it is not given in diagram, but it is given in your NCERT lines. Okay, so this region right here is called as ejaculatory duct. Ejaculatory duct right here, this region part here. Okay, now from here, students, we have three glands here. The first gland is called as seminal vesicle gland here. This part is called as seminal vesicle. Both of them are called as what? Seminal vesicle here. Then, students, this seminal vesicle is paired, means there are two of them. Then we have prostate gland, the second one. It is going to be single, alone, lonely. Okay, lonely, students, lonely. Then this, can you see two dots here? These two dots are called as bulbourethral gland. That is again paired. There are two of them. Okay, so here prostate might look there are two, but it's actually a single prostate here. It is single. Prostate is always single. Okay, prostate is always single here. Okay, so seminal vesicle 2, prostate is 1, bulbourethral is 2. Now, if you look at the lines of NCERT, it says three words for this. The release of secretion from seminal vesicle, prostate, and bulbourethral is called as seminal plasma. Now, what is present in the seminal plasma? That is very important. Inside the seminal plasma, there is three things NCERT tells, but there are more actually. NCERT tells you there is something called fructose for energy, there is calcium for the movement of your sperm, and there is also enzymes. So, repeat, students, repeat after me, all of you. Repeat after me. There is fructose, calcium, enzymes. Fructose, calcium, enzymes. Fructose, calcium, enzymes. These three things are mainly produced by these two glands mainly. Now, what about the third gland here? Bulbourethral gland, which is also called as Cowper gland. Okay, what does it produce? This bulbourethral gland actually produces something called as mucus. And this mucus is important for lubrication during coitus or the sex. Okay, that is bulbourethral gland right here, also called as Cowper gland, friends, Cowper gland. Okay, now students, let's say here we get the secretion is called as what? Here the secretion is called as seminal plasma. Yes or no? Seminal plasma. From the top, what came from the top? Top sperm came from top. Now together they are called as what? Together they are called as semen. They are called as semen now. Now semen is traveling here. In this region we have only semen right now. There is no sperm. There is nothing called as seminal plasma. Now we just call it as semen right now. Semen. Now students, this semen actually is passing through a common duct here. Can all of you see this part? This red color part. The common duct for release of semen and release of urine. Urine and semen both are released to the same duct here called as urethra. And urethra is also called as what? It is also called as urogenital tract. Urogenital. Uro and genital both. Urogenital tract. Common thing, students. Okay. Now, apart from this urethra here, do all of you see this pink color region here? All of you? This pink color region? This pink color region is actually called as, students, it is actually called as what? It is called as the erectile tissues. These are the tissues here which are actually responsible for the erection in the male. Erection of penis. Okay? Erection of penis because of these erectile tissues. Okay? There are actually two columns and one column. I'll teach you that also today. I'll teach you, friends. Do you want to level up or level down? All of you. Simple question to all of you. Do you want easy lectures or do you want detailed lectures for all of you? Detailed lectures. All of you in the chat, tell me. Because my lectures are going to be very detailed, very high level content, because you cannot take any chance. All of you agree on that. Yes, there may be some concepts from your NCERT and also out of NCERT in your examination. So you have to be prepared for anything and everything. So if you want to level up, you have to be in my class. Simple as that. Again, if you want to level up in your examination, you have to attend my class for level up classes. Simple as that. Okay. Now students, these are called as your what? These are called as erectile tissues here. Erectile tissues. Okay. Now students, I want all of you to understand this entire semen is traveling down and it opens into this region called as urethral meatus. This region right here is called as urethral meatus. Urethral meatus is opening, and this entire penis has a swollen end here. This entire swollen end is called as glans penis. And the entire penis is covered by a loose skin called as foreskin. Students, foreskin. Okay. So students, this is your entire decoded version of your male reproductive system. Here we spoke about different types of your ducts, different types of glands here, and we already spoke about the testes here, students. We spoke about the entire external genitalia, that is the penis here, students. So, students, how was it? Enjoyed all of you? This is what I call as level up learning. Okay. Now, students, are you ready to level up even more now? Because I will go even more detail into the entire secretion and even the other information right now. Okay. This is how you students, again I have made notes for you, so all of you can read this. All of you can read this entire notes, you'll get a better idea. Okay, journey of sperm, how does it happen? Entire journey of sperm. Sperm is produced in the seminiferous tubule, past reared testis, vas efferentia, epididymis. Then we have, vas deferens. Then loops over the urinary bladder, they receive the duct from seminal vesicle. Then we have ejaculatory duct here. Then students, then we have other different glands, prostate gland, bulbourethral gland, right? Urethra, then urethral meatus. That is the final opening. So you can read this, students. You can read all of this. All of you can read it once. Okay, all of you can read this one, students. All of you can read once. Now, I'll teach you more extra information, so please pay attention in my class. Students, again, if you look here and there in my class, you will miss one point and you're like, oh my god, what is sir saying? So if you want to be in my class, if you want to follow every single term, ultimate attention. Okay, and students, if you not like the video. And again, students, I've been noticing all of you don't comment only. Students, I want all of you to comment on the videos, because let's face it, when even including me, I don't watch any YouTube video on randomly. I will see the comments of the YouTube video. After seeing the comments, I will realize, okay, it is a good video, I'll watch it then. Otherwise, I don't watch. So it's your duty, you're already in my class, it's your duty to comment and tell this is a good lecture. All of you also watch this lecture. It is your duty. Okay, now students, see, seminal vesicle, I told you it's a one pair. See, can you see here? One pair it is present. Students, again, it produces alkaline secretion to neutralize the male and female tracts. So the entire semen is much more alkaline in nature because of seminal vesicle. It is alkaline. Students, the meaning of alkaline is high pH or low pH. Anyone? Basic chemistry? All of you? Basic chemistry people? Alkaline means more or less pH in the chat. Now, the secretion contributes to 60% of semen. 60% of semen is coming from the seminal vesicle itself. Okay. Then we have, what do we have inside seminal vesicle? What is actually present inside seminal vesicle, students? Inside seminal vesicle. Okay. Fructose and calcium. This is given in NCERT for all of you. There is prostaglandins here to facilitate uterine contraction. Then there is clotting proteins here, coagulation of semen after ejaculation. So once the semen has been released, it undergoes coagulation. All of you know what is coagulation, like how blood coagulates, even the semen also coagulates inside the female tract. Okay, students. Now you might be wondering, students, what about prostate here? First of all, students, prostate is single, very single person, like all of you, single. Okay. It surrounds the urethra. Can you see? It is surrounding the urethra. I told you, it is one thing entire covering there, behind it, urethra. Okay. 20% of semen, very simple. Okay. Now, it provides, nourishes and activates the sperm to swim. So, it actually helps in the motility of the sperm. It increases the motility of the sperm. Okay. Now, students, here, the secretion contains albumins, proteolytics, and enzyme called as fibrinolysin. Now this fibrinolysin, again students, will actually melt the clotting protein. Now once the semen has been clotted, right, it will completely remove the clotting factor. Okay, this is extra information. They will not ask you all this, so you can chill a little. This is for all of your benefit. This is for all of your own benefit, students. Okay, no, students. Next is called as Cowper gland. Cowper gland is also called as bulbourethral gland here. Alkaline secretion again. It secretes mucus to lubricate gland's penis, decrease the damage to the sperm. Simple. It provides lubrication. So lubrication by Cowper gland here. Prostate, students, nourishes and activates the sperm. Then we have the seminal vesicle, fructose and calcium, prostaglandins, clotting protein. So apart from the students, even the prostate produces enzymes. Enzymes are produced. Okay. Then we have the penis. Penis is the male external genitalia. The external genitalia is called as the penis here. This entire thing is called as penis. As you can see, it is covered by a foreskin here, foreskin outside. The swollen end is called as glans penis. Opening is called as urethral meatus. All of you know this. Okay. Now students, this entire penis has something called as erectile tissues here. These are called as erectile tissues to transfer sperm into the female genital tract. These erectile tissues are very important. Without erectile tissues, there will be problems. All of you know. You have seen the ads in movies and everything. In movies and in this the roadside, there's problems because of this only. If this tissue gets damaged, problems will happen. Okay. Swollen end is called as the glans penis here. All of you know. Now students, these are called as your erectile tissues. All of you listen to me very carefully. Can all of you see, students, this entire region here? This is one column here, one column, and this is one more column here. Two columns of corpora cavernosa here. Corpora cavernosa. There are two columns. There are two columns of corpora cavernosa. Two columns of corpora cavernosa here. These two, corpora cavernosa, and this one. Can you see at the bottom here? This is also erectile tissue. This is called as corpus spongiosum. This is called as corpus spongiosum. Corpus spongiosum here. This one is called as corpus spongiosum. These two are called as corpora cavernosa. These are the erectile tissues. Erectile tissues. Okay. Corpora cavernosa and corpora spongiosum. Please learn, students. A single column. Here there are two columns of these. Two columns of corpora cavernosa. Okay. Students, solve this question quickly. Students, solve this question quickly. Students, solve this question, all of you. Students, quickly solve this question. Where is everyone, students? All of you listening to the class or always sleeping? Huh? Speak in Telugu, students. I'll speak in Telugu. Wait. You learn the class. I'll speak in Arabic also. I'll speak in French also. You listen to the class first. Students, see. Arrange the following male sex axillary ducts in the correct sequence for the transport of sperm from testes. From testes, you can't see, students. You can't see this one. Huh? Okay, see this question. I'll show you one more, students. Okay, solve this question. I hope this is visible to all of you. Same question, different format. Same question, different format, students. This is a NEET 2019 question. Students, do you realize I usually teach this entire male part in 30 minutes, 20 minutes actually. The reason I have gone so detailed is because if you are learning this for the very first time, right, this chapter for the first time, and if you learn basic only outline, doesn't do justice. Can you believe just from almost 1 hour, we are just doing, from almost 1 hour, we are just doing the male reproductive system. That is the level of detailedness you will get in my class, not anywhere else. Okay? Now, students, something for us to be, all of you know this rated test was a French shaped MS, and then okay. Students, quick question, all of you, quick answer. I'll give you 20 seconds. I'll give you 20 seconds to answer this question. 20 seconds. Students, 20 seconds quickly. Done? Next question, next question. Students, how many of you are in class 11th, class 12th dropper? Students, let me in the chat quickly. How many of you are in class 11th, class 12th dropper? Done? Urethra common duct. NEET 2014 question. How many seminiferous tubules? How many seminiferous tubules? Dropper 12th. All of you are 12th students. So if you're in class 12 students, trust me, when you learn this chapter in your school or college, you will ace it in your school or college. You'll be like, sir, what is this? Our sir thought so detailed. 1, 2, 3. Lady cells are present in outside students, outside the seminiferous tubule. Outside the seminiferous tubule. All of you students know this. Seminal plasma plus sperm is called as the semen. Ejaculated from the penis during ejaculation. They come out. Okay. Now students, structure of sperm you understand. Okay, structure of sperm is very easy. Class 10th you're learning this. Friends, understand. Structure of sperm. It has 3 main parts. It has a head region, middle piece and tail. This is called as the head region, middle piece and whiplash tail. It has 3 regions. It has 3 regions, students. 3 regions. Okay. Now students. Now what exactly is present in the head region? Head region has something called as a haploid nucleus, and it is completely covered by plasma membrane throughout the body actually. And this head region also, students, this head region also has this one hat-like structure called as acrosome. Called as, students, acrosome here. Acrosome is a cap-like structure here. Now this acrosome will have a lot of enzymes, students. This acrosome will have a lot of enzymes, and these enzymes are very important when the sperm is trying to enter inside the egg, because in the egg, right, there is something called as corona radiata, there is something called as zona pellucida, there is plasma membrane. So all of this has to be degraded, right? It has to be removed. That is done by this enzyme present here. That is done by these enzymes present here, students. Okay. Now, plasma membrane forms the outer layer of the head. Acrosome is the cap-like structure which contains enzymes here. Nucleus is haploid here, means 23 chromosomes. Middle piece has mitochondria, all of you know. Middle piece has a lot of mitochondria for energy sake, and tail obviously for movement. Now students, now I want all of you to understand very well, students. I want all of you to understand, all of you. Sapida, not it. Sapida will happen later. Food will happen later, students. Okay. This is advanced lecture. This is called as advanced lecture. This is the advanced lecture for all of you. Yes or no? So I have a doubt. Why can't go from 11th to 12th? Because 11th lesson and 12th lesson one only. Why? Because there are many 11th students and 12th students. There are many 11th students and 12th students also, right? So we are going one by one. So if I take one class 11th, I will take one class 12th after that. Class 11th, class 12th, like that. That is my whole plan. Don't worry about corona radiata. Corona radiata will happen later on, not now. I will teach you all that later on. What is corona radiata? What is fertilizing, anti-fertilizing? Okay. Friends, let me tell you one thing. I'll give you one assurance. Okay. If you attend my class once, and if you pay attention, even 50%, and after my class is over, you just try to read NCERT once, and trust me, the amount of clarity you get in concepts, you'll remember forever. That is my guarantee in my class, students. Okay. Now, I want all of you to understand, students, there is hormonal control. How does it happen here? Okay. There is something called as hypothalamus, all of you know. From the hypothalamus, during puberty, what happens? There is a signal that hypothalamus increases the GnRH. From hypothalamus, GnRH produces. There is an increase in GnRH. This GnRH, students, this GnRH will act on anti-pituitary. Now from anterior pituitary, it will act on FSH and LH. FSH called as what? Follicular stimulating hormone. LH is called as what? Luteinizing hormone. It is called as luteinizing hormone. Okay. Now students, what do they act on? What do FSH act on and what do Leydig cells act on? FSH will always act on, students, Sertoli cell, and LH will act on Leydig cell. Students, this might be difficult to understand and remember also, but it's a small trick here. S for FSH here, S for Sertoli, L for Leydig, L is here, Leydig is here. So SSLL. So with the help of that trick, you can remember all this. With a small trick, you can remember all this, students. Yeah. Okay. Okay, students. Clear, all of you? Clear? So FSH acts on Sertoli cell, LH acts on Leydig cells. So I hope that is clear to all of you. Now these Sertoli cell, all of you know, it helps in spermatogenesis. Leydig cells produce what? Leydig cells produce what, students? Leydig cells will produce androgen. Students, I miss DNA batch. Obviously. Students, DNA batch is so loved. All of you so loved, but yeah. Okay. Now students, now. Can anyone solve this question? See, this is the type of question you can expect in your NEET examination also. This type of question you can expect in your NEET examination also, right? It says identify the correct options A, B, C, D with respect to spermatogenesis. With respect to spermatogenesis, identify A, B, C, D. A, B, C and D. Okay, what is A, B, C? Tell me, students. What is A, B, C, D? Students, try. I hope I can see now clearly. Students, see, all of you know LH, FSH. LH will act on what, students? LH will act on S will act on androgen production. Okay. Factors which will help you, students. It will help in our answer is not there, so let's just solve it, students. So A is going to be FSH. So these two options are gone. And B is Leydig cell. So we got answer, students. We got answer here only, no? These two options we got the answer. C is Sertoli cell. D is spermatogenesis. Easy? Okay. Now, students, solve this question. This is a very student. This is actually beautiful question, which is actually from a line of NCERT. Okay. Romba star. Thank you so much. Thank you, students. Thank you. Students, solve this question. See this. What causes the onset of puberty? Why does the puberty actually happen? Students, why does it happen? Anyone? Students, many would go for this option. Yes or no? But it is wrong. It is actually this answer. Why? Increase in secretion of GnRH. So all of you know, here what happens? First of all, there is an increase in GnRH. Because of that only we get Leydig cell. Here this will produce the testosterone and androgen. That's how androgen happens here. Androgen, testosterone happens here. So it is always, students, I'm proud of all of you students. Usually many students get this wrong, but all of you are smart today. Okay. Students, solve this question. Students, quick solve this question. In vertebrates, testes for nourishing during spermatogenesis, the spermatids gets attached to. Where do you think spermatids attach to? This one I have not thought, students. You can skip this one because this actually I teach in spermatogenesis. Not here. So you can skip this one. It is actually Sertoli cell. They join in Sertoli cell. Okay, thank you, MS. Okay, now students, finally, with that your entire male reproductive system is over. Students, can we start female now, students? Again, 40 minutes, 30 minutes will be over. 30 minutes will also be over. See, I can do it fast, and finish in 15 minutes. Do you want that? No. We want to learn in detail. We want to understand in detail, and very important, all of you with the same pacing with me. Okay. Students, shall we start, all of you? And let me drink some water. All of you drink some water. Water break. All of you drink water quickly. Tanni. Satisfaction. Water is the tastiest thing in the world, students. Water. Then, students, can we start? Yes, shall we start? Neeru. No break, 5 minutes break, this is only break. Break is over. This is only the break now. Okay. Students, today you only have one class on the channel. Today you only have one class. That one class also you need break, huh? No, you can understand, students. If you understand cell cycle, you can. Students, obviously I am a South Indian. I am from Bangalore. I am from I'm a Kannadiga. Obviously, I will know Tamil because I've been to Tamil Nadu. My friends are from Tamil Nadu. I know Telugu because I've watched Telugu movies. I know Malayalam because of Gopika ma'am. Right? All of you, obviously. Common sense. We are South Indians. We know everything. We are multilinguistic people. Not multi-talented also, but we are multilinguistic. Okay. That's what. Let's go. The female reproductive system, students. Again, it is a system which has a collection of components. It has a collection of components here. Okay. Now, for example, again, students, in the case of female reproductive system, there is something called as primary sex organs. Primary sex organ here again should be able to produce something called as hormone plus the gametes. Friends, can anyone tell me in the chat which is the friends, all of you, anyone who can tell me, students, which is the primary sex organ here? The primary sex organ here are the ovaries. Ovaries are the primary sex organs here. Okay. These ovaries can produce something called as your estrogen, progesterone. These are the hormones plus the secondary oocyte, which is the gamete here. Secondary oocyte is released. Secondary oocyte which is released during ovulation. Don't say egg. Secondary oocyte is the correct term. I'll teach you why also in my class. Students, I know voice will break when I turn from that side, I guess. There's some ghost stories there outside. I don't want to go that side only. Okay. Students, secondary oocyte here. Okay. Now, students, there is something called as female primary sex organs. Here are the 6 organs here. That is the ova or the secondary oocyte. Okay, secondary oocyte. Pair of ovaries in the upper pelvic cavity. Uterus is supported by ligaments attached to the pelvic wall. Now, students, can all of you see, students, this is the primary sex organ right here. Primary sex organ right here. It can produce the egg. Alternating month, if this egg produces this month, this ovary, this month produces the egg, next month this will produce. So they will alternate with each other, students. Okay. Now, students, let me just show you. If I take a ovary cross section, students, okay, what is the oocyte? I'll teach you, don't worry. I'll teach you what is oocyte, what is a follicle, what is secondary oocyte in the next class. For that, you have to understand something called as spermatogenesis, oogenesis, to understand follicle and all. Okay. Now, all of you listen to me. If I take a ovary and I cut it, in half. Now, what do I see from the inside? What do we get on the inside, students? Okay. Now, this is how the ovary looks from the inside. On the inside, it has 2 parts. It has how many parts, students? It has 2 parts here. The outer part here called as epithelium here. The outer part is called as what? Epithelium, the outer part. And the inside part is called as stroma. Students, repeat after me. The outer part is called as epithelium. The inside part is called as stroma. Now, the inside part is again divided into 2 parts. All of you, students, all of you. See, inside stroma is again divided into two parts. Inside stroma, this region here, this outer part here, periphery part. Inside the stroma, this outside part is called as what? It is called as outer cortex. Outer cortex, this part. Outer cortex. Okay, that is the outer cortex, students. Then this middle part here, this middle part here, this middle part is called as inner medulla. It is called as what? Inner medulla, students. It is called as what? Inner medulla, students. This inner medulla, students, it is actually rich in blood vessels, lymphatic vessels, and lot of nerves. This one here. Now, what about outer cortex, students? In outer cortex, we can see the development of follicle. Students, in outer cortex, we can see the development of follicle. Yeah. These are called as follicles. Primary follicle, secondary follicle, tertiary follicle, Graafian follicle. Don't get confused. I'll teach you all that what is a follicle also. Don't get confused. Don't get confused. Okay. So these are follicles on the outside here, and inner medulla, students, we can have blood vessels, lymphatic vessels, and nerves on the inside. Okay. Now, students, all of you ready for decoding the diagram again? Students, all of you ready to decode the diagram like how we did for male? All students ready? Full decoding day, ready, all of you. Can I get a fire emoji, students? Can I get a fire emoji in the chat? Shall we start the decoding here? It's almost done today. Next class, next week, mine. Decoding done? Shall we start? Okay. Now, students, again here I want all of you to understand the primary sex organ. The primary sex organ here, students, is the ovary here. Ovary. Every single month, one is active. From here, secondary oocyte is released. We say egg, no egg. The egg's actual name, students, the egg's actual name is called as secondary oocyte. It is called as what? Secondary oocyte, the egg's actual name. Now, students, from here, this secondary oocyte is now picked up. The secondary oocyte is now picked up by a finger-like structure called as fimbriae. Can you see, students, see? These are called as finger-like structure called as fimbriae. Finger-like structure called as fimbriae will pick up the secondary oocyte through a small opening called as ostia here. Small opening called as ostia. Here, small opening. Now, the secondary oocyte is entering inside. Now, if it enters inside, it will reach a cone-shaped structure called as infundibulum. Cone-shaped structure called as infundibulum. This one, cone structure. Okay. Now, from this point, it goes upwards. Now, it reaches a much more wide area called as ampulla region. Students, ampulla region. And students, remember, in this ampulla region itself, the entire fertilization happens. That is, in this ampulla region, fertilization happens. That is, sperm plus egg fusion. It happens right here. Where? In the ampulla region, students. In the ampulla region. Okay. Ostia. Yes, exactly. Kashijan. Correct. Okay. Now, from here, if fertilization is happening, then at this point, we can have zygote. If there is no fertilization, then we can have the secondary oocyte as such. Also, any of the one can be here present. If there is fertilization, then zygote. If not, secondary oocyte. Clear, all of students? Clear. No. Here. This region here. We have the ostia here. Ostia right here. Okay. Now, students, now from this isthmus region, that is a narrow part. Students, now this infundibulum, fimbriae, ampulla, isthmus, all of these three parts are actually part of secondary sexual, secondary, product here, secondary structure here called as fallopian tube. They're part of fallopian tube. Now you might ask me, sir, in examination, will they give fallopian tube or they can give you some other name? Yes, they can give you. Fallopian tube is also called as oviduct. It is called as what, students? Oviduct also. It can be called as oviduct. Fallopian tube or oviduct, same meaning, same meaning. Okay. Now it is a secondary part here. Okay. No, secondary sex organ here. Secondary sex organ. Now, movement happens here. Now it reaches a one more region called as uterus. Now this entire region is like an inverted pear. Yeah. Something like this. Can you see, students? This is called as inverted pear. Inverted pear here. Inverted pear here. Okay. Now this inverted pear is called as uterus. This entire thing is called as uterus. Uterus here. Now students, this uterus is also called as hysteria. Removal of uterus is called as hysterectomy. It is also called as womb. It is also called as womb. All of you know womb, right? Where the baby is developing. Where the baby is developing, students, baby is developing. That is called as womb only. Womb. Okay. Now students, this entire uterus here has three main layers here. Can you see? Three main layers here. Three main layers. Okay, womb. Exactly. W-O-M-B, womb. We know mother's womb, we say mother's womb. You might have heard about mother's womb. That is this part actually, not the stomach. Stomach is not the womb. Stomach has acid in it. Baby cannot develop in stomach. Stomach has acid. Okay, hysteria, exactly, hysteria. Okay, now students, it has three layers, right? The outer layer is called as perimetrium here. Perimetrium is very thin layer. It is a thin outer layer, students. It is a thin outer layer. Okay, thin outer layer. Then middle layer is called as myometrium. Middle layer is called myometrium, students. Middle layer myometrium, students, it is made of smooth muscle tissue. Smooth muscle tissue. And the most important point, students, can anyone remind me what do I call as childbirth as? What do you call as childbirth as, students? Childbirth as? All of you. Students, what do you call childbirth as? Parturition. Now, during parturition, the uterus undergoes contraction. The uterus undergoes contraction. Okay. Now, during contraction, which part is contracted? This part. Myometrium, students. Myometrium undergoes contraction during childbirth. It undergoes contraction during childbirth. Childbirth. Contraction during childbirth, myometrium. Then innermost layer, students. Innermost layer is called as endometrium. Innermost layer. Innermost layer is glandular in nature. It is glandular means it can secrete substances, secretory in nature. Now it also undergoes contraction. It also undergoes changes. But it undergoes cyclic changes during menstrual cycle. So endometrium undergoes cyclic changes during menstrual cycle. Then we have myometrium during childbirth, perimetrium, thin outer layer. Simple as that, students. Simple as that. So three layers of your entire uterus. Perimetrium, myometrium, smooth muscle tissue, contraction during childbirth, innermost layer called as endometrium, glandular in nature, secretory in nature, undergoes cyclic changes every single month in the menstrual cycle. Students. Now vagina will uterus will open into vagina. Uterus will open into vagina through a narrow region called as cervix here. Okay. Now the canal of cervix is called as cervical canal. It is called as cervical canal. Cervical canal plus vagina. Cervical canal plus vagina together it forms the birth canal. It forms the birth canal, students. Birth canal. Now all of you might be wondering, students. Is this the external genitalia? Is vagina actually the external genitalia? Like how we have in the case of male, we have the the penis. Is it equivalent to penis? It is not. That is what the confusion always is. Vagina is not external genitalia. Vagina is like your urethral meatus, just opening there, just opening like urethral meatus. So what is the external genitalia, students? What is the external genitalia? I'll teach you, students. I'll teach you today. Listen to me. Okay. This is called as birth canal. This two together is called as birth canal, from where the childbirth happens. Students, doesn't it look colorful? It looks like one. Notes, no? Like a teacher, like you wrote something in your answer sheet. A teacher is correcting everywhere. This is how I'm correcting everywhere to all of you. Okay, students? Students here. This is actually, see, hysteria. Hysteria or womb or the uterus. Womb. Hollow muscular structure. Okay, lies in the pelvic cavity, inverted pear shape. Can you see inverted pear shape? Inverted pear shape. That is called as the entire uterus. It has multiple parts. Can you see? This part is labeled in your NCERT. This part is actually labeled in your NCERT called as fundus part, dome shape. It also has corners, it has middle body part, it has cervix here. All are part of uterus actually. Okay. Then the cervical canal here. Okay, body, cornua is also present here. Okay. This is the cone-shaped wedge here, called as cervix. Cervix. Now, students. Is vagina the opening? No. Vagina is actually, students, vagina is actually opening there for childbirth to happen. Then what is actually the external genitalia? Like in the case of male, I should remember male, the penis, the erectile tissues there, the glans, penis and everything. What about in the case of female? Students, what about in the case of female? What is it? Anyone who can tell me? Students, anyone who can tell me, students? In the case of female? Anyone? Students, this wedge means a small cluster there, like a corner there. Corner, like a... Yeah. Now, students, this is called as your external genitalia. External genitalia is called as vulva. It is called as vulva. Okay. Now, students, this is what is given your NCERT. This is what is given your NCERT. Can you understand anything from your students? Can you understand anything from your vulva? Where is the vulva here? All of you. It says here in this region, it says labia majora, labia minora, vaginal orifice. There is something called as vaginal orifice. That is vagina opening basically. There is also urethral opening. But can you understand from your students? Difficult to understand, right? Not volvox. Yeah, bro. Not volvox. Vulva. Not volvox. Volvox is an algae. Just because I'm a botany teacher. Not volvox. Not really. Exactly. Not really. Not really, students. So understand. This entire region is called as vulva. This entire region is called as vulva. Okay, vulva. Now I want all of you to focus very well. Students, can you see here? This outer part, the thick cushion part here. The thick cushion part on the outside here is called as mons pubis actually. This outer part, mons pubis, has the pubic hair as well as cushion of fatty tissues. Okay. Then students, then can all of you notice here clearly it has the outer layer here. Outer here. This part here. This one. This outer part here is called as the labia majora. This is labia majora. This is major. Labia majora. Okay, this is the labia major outside. Now, students, can all of you notice, right? Inside labia majora, there is one more foldings inside here. There are two foldings inside. The inner folding is called as labia minora. Labia minora, students. Labia majora actually makes up the entire covering of the vaginal orifice. This is called as vaginal orifice. This is where the vagina is inside. The inner part, which is NCR. The NCR diagram is there, no? NCR diagram. NCR diagram is there, right? That is behind this. Okay. This is called as vaginal orifice. Vaginal opening here. This vaginal opening is covered by labia majora on the outside here. Now, if you notice clearly, right? Labia minora is just going upwards here. Labia minora is going upwards. This top part of labia minora, right? You see a small finger-like structure here called as clitoris. Now, students, remember, in the case of male, remember we had erectile tissues. Here also we have erectile tissues. The erectile tissues present here are in the clitoris. So, clitoris also has erectile tissues. Okay. This is labia minora, labia majora. And this is called mons pubis on the top. Mons pubis. This entire part is called as mons pubis. And notice, if you notice here clearly, this is vaginal opening where the childbirth happens. Where the birth happens. Okay. But can you see there's one more opening here right now? That is called as urethral opening, from where urine is coming out. Urine is coming out from here. Urine is coming out from here, this region. This is where the childbirth happens, or the bleeding also happens from here itself. Because here we have endometrium on the inside, endometrium here, endometrium inside here. That is where the menstrual cycle bleeding happens. But here the urine release happens. That is called urethral opening, vaginal opening. But in the case of male students, in the case of male, there is only one opening. There is only one tract. That is called as urogenital tract. Both for semen release, both for urine release, a single tract. But in the case of female, two different tracts. Students, how many of you know this? Students, how many of you know this actually? This is very, no one tells you this also. No one tells. And until when I reached, after my 12th, no one told me also until 12th. When I reached MSc, I learned zoology in MSc. That's when I learned actually. Okay. Now students. Then clitoris, students, clitoris is a finger-like structure here, which has a lot of nerve endings. We also know nerve endings. Now, you might be wondering, there is no glands here, students? Glands? Because NCERT is not telling any glands. But if that means there is no glands at all here, no. There are glands here also, students. There are glands present here. There is Bartholin gland present here. Okay. So there are multiple glands present here. There are multiple glands also present here. Bartholin and paraurethral glands. Paraurethral glands. So there are glands present here. Okay. And this Bartholin gland is actually present here near the vaginal opening here. This is called as middle part here. That is called as vestibule. Middle part is called as vestibule. Here we have Bartholin. Paraurethral on the top. Paraurethral on top. So there are glands present here also. There are glands. NCERT is not telling you that's all. NCERT is not telling you that's all, students. There is Bartholin glands and paraurethral glands present here. Okay. Middle part is called vestibule here. Okay. And students, entire, right, here are extra information for all of you. This is what is given in NCERT. Okay. Now this entire vaginal opening is vagina is covered by a thin membrane-like structure called as hymen. Hymen layer is present. Now there is a misconception that if hymen is broken, virginity is gone. Not true. Many cases. Let me tell you why. Because sometimes even after the sex also, the hymen layer is still there. It is still there. Okay. And even before the coitus also, it can break. Because of horseback riding, any sports or something, any other activity, the hymen layer can break. It is a membrane, that's all. It is a membrane. Even the use of tampon, right? If you insert, it breaks again. So there is nothing called as hymen is present, virginity, nothing like that. Okay. Now students, I want all of you to understand then extra one more gland here called as mammary glands. Students, this is easy, just read this once. It is very easy. I've given you all the information here. All the information present here, students. Erectile tissues, vaginal orifice, everything is present here. Okay. Next gland is called as mammary glands. It's called as mammary glands. Okay. Now students, all of you tell me in the chat, do you think every single female primate has mammary glands or not? Tell me, students, tell me. Students, all of you, do you think every female primate has it or not? Thank you, Raghav, thank you. Students, do you think it is present? Now, students, do you want to know a fact here? Students, how many of you know what is a platypus? See, this is my favorite platypus. Students, how many of you know platypus? It's a mammal. Platypus is a mammal, students. How many of you know what is platypus? Platypus. How many of you know? Platypus is it can lay eggs. How stupid it is. It is oviparous. It can lay eggs. It is venomous. It has electrode. It can pick up electrical signals. Males are venomous also. Okay. Now students, do you want to know something here? These platypus, right, especially in the case of female, right, they have mammary glands, but there is no nipple only, right? These mammals, right, these mammals called as platypus, there is no nipple, there is only mammary glands. So how do you think they produce the milk? The milk is actually coming from the skin. So from their armpits, from this armpits here, throughout the body, it will start to release milk throughout the body. and milk will be trapped in the skin and hair. On the body, a small hair, no, in that hair, milk will be trapped, and the small baby will try to drink the milk from the hair here. That is what happens in platypus. From the skin, they will release the milk. From the skin, like sweat. Like how we release sweat, right? Sweat. Just like sweat, it will release all the milk from its body. That is how it happens in platypus. Just like sweat. Okay. It is like when it is next level animal it is. It's like when it doesn't. It is like when nature's weird person. Weird person it is. It will lay the egg. It is under the water, above the water. Okay. This animal can venomous. It has electrical signals, right? So it is very unique. Platypus is very unique. It's very weird. It's very weird person. This is okay. Very weird person. Okay, and this is one of my favorite cartoon also. This is my favorite cartoon called as Phineas and Ferb. Okay, Phineas and Ferb. Students, if you want to know more about this, try to Google about platypus. You'll be shocked. You'll be shocked. Okay. Now, students. Now we come to the end, students. We come to the end. Almost chapter is over. Today's class is over, students. Almost. Now we come to something called as mammary glands. Students, mammary glands are nothing but modified sweat glands. They are active in the female, inactive in the case of males. Inactive in the case of males. They are made up of something called as mammary. Students, they are made up of something called as your glandular tissues and variable amount of fat. Fat can increase or decrease, right? Students, platypus can actually track its, it will track, students, it will track the other prey by electrical signals. Like every single organism can release some signals, right? This will track the signals and it will go behind them. Oh, one more fact, one more fact. Students, how many chromosomes do we have? How many sex chromosomes do we have, students? We have 2. Like we can have XX or we can have XY. 2 sex chromosomes. In the case of platypus, it has 10. Students, in the case of platypus, it has 10 sex chromosomes. Very weird. It has 10 sex chromosomes. Very weird, students, very weird. Okay, even I still watch, students. Phineas and Ferb is really good. Okay, so here we have glandular tissues everywhere and variable amount of fat everywhere. Okay, now students, the glandular tissue of each breast is divided into 15 to 20 mammary lobes. Okay, there are 15 to 20 mammary lobes at this. Can you see? These are lobes. There are around 15 to 20 mammary lobes everywhere. Mammary lobes everywhere, students. Mammary lobes. Those are called as mammary lobes. Okay, and these mammary lobes have something called as a cluster of cells or tissues called as alveoli. Okay, see, 15 to 20 mammary lobes containing clusters of cells called as alveoli. And students, in this alveoli, the milk is produced and milk is stored. Okay, so students, in this alveoli itself, milk is produced and stored also in the alveoli. In the alveoli only, students. The cells of alveoli secrete milk which is stored in the cavity of alveoli itself. Now, students, in examination, this is alveoli. Can you see? Alveoli. These are called as alveoli. This is called as mammary lobes. Fat everywhere, fat. Okay. Now, students, this is the NCERT diagram given for all of you. NCERT diagram given for all of you, students. Now, in examination, what they will ask you? Okay. Students, I remember all of you because I can't take so much of classes also. I have one more class after this. Also. Remember, I have one more class. Students, I teach for, there's something called as Junior Science Olympiad. How many of you know Olympiads? So I'm an Olympiad teacher also. I teach for Olympiad level. High level content I teach for Olympiad also. Okay, good morning. Yeah. Students, all of you in my Telegram, right? Basavaraj Sir Biology. Remember that. My name you add, you'll get my Telegram. Students, in examination, what they will ask you? In examination, they will ask you the transport of milk. That is very important. Okay, students, understand. First, milk is produced in alveoli. Alveoli, the milk is produced, students. Alveoli, the milk is produced. From alveoli, the milk is next going to something called as mammary tubules. From mammary tubules, it goes something called as mammary ampulla. Okay, mammary ampulla, students. From mammary ampulla, it goes to lactiferous duct. From lactiferous duct, it goes to the nipples. Nipple, students. Okay, this is how the milk passage happens. Now, students, do you want a trick for this? Students, do you want a trick for this? Students, do you want a trick for this or not? Tell me first of all. Do you want a trick? Yes or no? All of you in the chat quickly. Students, make 100 likes first of all. All of you are not liking the video only. Huh? What is this? So much of hard work, so much of information. All of you quickly smash the like button. Okay? Now, students, this is not my trick. I stole it from somewhere. It is not my trick first of all. It is not my trick. I stole it from somewhere. I like to steal things sometimes. Okay? We steal things in life also. Okay? Now, what is the trick, students, here? That is the trick. That is the trick, students. All the doctors are loyal. Okay, again, not my trick, students. Don't tell in the comment, this is this trick I saw on YouTube. This trick I saw on Instagram. Same trick you're using, because I also saw on Instagram only. Not only you. I use Instagram. Okay. So A for alveoli, T for the tubule, mammary tubule, D for your mammary duct. Students, I missed mammary duct. Mammary duct I finished, students, missed out. Here we have mammary duct. See, this is what happens, students. Sometimes even I can forget. Okay, mammary duct. Students, then we have mammary ampulla. Mammary duct, mammary ampulla, lactiferous duct, and nipples. All of you can remember. Okay. Okay. So now, students, all of you are also part of my heist. All of you are also part of the crime now. Okay. All of you are also part of my crime now. Okay. Now, students, all the doctors are loyal. Okay. All of you, please don't tell anyone this is my trick anywhere. Don't go to somewhere and tell this is Basavaraj Sir's trick. It is not my trick. I will tell you open, not my trick. Okay. So alveoli, T for mammary tubule, D for mammary duct, A for mammary ampulla, L for lactiferous duct, and N for nipples. Okay. So students, with that, today's class is over. Students, solve these questions and you are free to go. Students, solve this question and you are free to go after. Quickly, students, solve these questions. You are free to go after this. Gravity also not my trick, students. Gravity is not my trick, students. Sometimes what happens, see in my Instagram, sometimes I get small random tricks. See, there are few tricks which I make, but morphology tricks I have made. Morphology tricks are mine. Morphology tricks. Okay, I will agree on that. Okay. So these are not my tricks. So students have to be honest sometimes, and you have to be honestly steal things. Honestly stealing things. Okay. Vast difference receives a duct from seminal vesicle and opens to urethra ejaculatory duct. Both are correct. Next question. Which of the following is not a component of fallopian tube? Not a part of fallopian tube, students. Uterine fundus. Uterine fundus, students. Because of the uncontrolled growth of cells. Carcinoma. Yes or no? Uterine fundus. This is a beautiful question. Some of you will go wrong. Let's see who will go wrong. Okay. Some of you will go wrong here. So be ready to go wrong. Okay. FSH acts on ovarian follicle in female and Leydig cells in male. Growing ovarian follicles secrete estrogen in female, while interstitial cells secrete androgen in the case of male. Student, I will tell you this is correct. I will tell you this is correct, student. This is correct here. Ovarian follicles will produce estrogen. Ovarian follicles will produce estrogen. That is correct here. That's correct. So what is the answer, students? What is the answer? They will not be patent right, students. Many people have stole mine also. Many people have stole my tricks also. Do I tell? Do I tell? I'm a honest stealer. I'll tell everyone if I steal something. Students, why option number C? Can you tell me why option number C and not here? Because it says FSH will act on ovarian follicles in female. That is correct here. But here it says, students, FSH will, students, S for what? S for Sertoli cell, not Leydig cell. Becomes wrong. Becomes wrong, students. Becomes wrong. Students, I didn't teach you. This is the question which I have to tell you, all of you. See, how do ovoid oocyte get into the uterus? Like oocyte getting into the uterus. Because students, in the uterus, what happens? Now before the uterus, the fallopian tube, right? The fallopian tube has something called as columnar epithelial cells. It has something called as columnar epithelial cells. The columnar epithelial cells will help in the movement of the oocyte. Okay, that is called as cilia within the oviduct create current that sweep the egg, towards the uterus. Okay, students, sweeping will happen. Like if this the movement of egg happens because of the cilia everywhere, small ciliated columnar epithelial cells. Ciliated columnar epithelial cells. Students, this I will teach you next chapter, students. This is your homework question. I want to see everyone's homework. Otherwise, I'll not give you homework later on. This is your homework question. In comments. Okay. Homework question in the comments, students. Homework question in the current. Okay. Now, students, I want to tell you one more thing. Many students are already part of DNA batch, right? Now, in DNA batch, I usually teach with animations. Here, I can't show animations because of copyright issues. Because of copyright issues, I don't show animation. But in DNA batch, I show a lot of animation. So, if you think that, see, class 12, if you're in class 12th, you need 1 year complete, coverage. 11th and 12th, PCMB with soft copy books, unlimited questions, DNA batch is go. I will teach the same in DNA batch also. All of you know that also. Who are part of already DNA batch. Okay. So again, if you want to join, link is in the description. You can join from there also directly. Okay. So think about it once. Okay. So it has unlimited DPPs, unlimited questions, unlimited books, everything unlimited. Okay. So thank you so much, students. We'll go one by one because there are a lot of people who are in dropper also. They will know. Dropper students will know class 11th already. Okay. So thank you so much, students. Roshini, Kaljin, Pariksha, Praveen, Nandu, Breezia, Anand, all of you. Thank you so much, students. I want all of you to quickly comment today only. Now only go and comment also. Okay. I want to see your comments in the video today, right now. Okay. Thank you so much, students. Bye bye, all of you. Kai Srinjan, because we also teach for students who are dropper. So they have finished 11th already. Right. So for them, this is also very important. Okay. So thank you so much, students. Bye bye. Take care, all of you. Sayonara, all of you. And I will see you in the next lecture. Until then, keep studying, keep enjoying, and don't waste time. Just because you have time, don't waste time, students. Learn. Honest, you should learn. Honest stealing, honest learning in life. Okay. So bye bye, students, all of you. Take care. Boy, all of you. Boy.